G'day everyone, it's Chris Carlin here, masteryourmoneynow.com.au, helping you take control of your finances from the comfort of your own home. And what I want to talk about in this week's Whiteboard Wednesday is the bank of mum and dad. It's a very common term for first home buyers, and a question I often get asked, should I use my parents to help with saving for a deposit? And it's something that not just people are asking me, that a lot of people are asking that question and using this strategy. During the Royal Commission, which is what RC stands for, during the Royal Commission, it was revealed that they estimate over $20 billion has been used from the bank of mum and dad from utilising parents' equity to help first home buyers buy their first home. So now there is some... They have raised some issues as a result of that because people are using their parents' equity. The children's loan, in this instance, it goes pear-shaped. They're unable to make the repayments, and then as a result, not only do the child's home gets seized or repossessed, but also the parent's home can potentially get repossessed as well because they've gone guarantor for the child's loan. So that has presented a lot of problems as the use of the bank of mum and dad. And as a result, this is something that they're actually tightening up on. So just something to keep mindful of there. Whilst this has been a good strategy in the past, it is getting that little bit harder now to use your parents' equity in order to purchase your first home. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind as well is the fact that when you are saving for your first home, you have to show genuine, for the majority, for the majority of lenders, if you do want the best rates, the majority of lenders will want to show genuine savings, i.e. money that you have saved up rather than that's being gifted to you from your parents. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind as well. The Royal Commission has actually really tightened this up. It is still possible that you can use your parents' equity to purchase your first home. It is just that little bit harder now than it was, say, 1 to 2 years ago. The second thing is you are able to fast track your equity. So if I take a step back, maybe I should have started from here. Why do people use their parents' equity to purchase their first home? It means that it fast tracks the saving for a deposit process. Rather than saving the 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand deposit, whatever that might be, you can just use your parents' equity to, if your parents have got money left over or lying around, you can use your parents' equity to purchase your first home. And that means you don't have to wait 2, 3, 5, 10 years to save up for that deposit. So it can definitely fast track the process. There are some big advantages of using your parents' equity, but that has come up with some consequences as highlighted in the Royal Commission. The biggest issue I always see is the repayment. Is there an expectation that this money is paid back? Now, for the majority of people, it really depends on the agreement, but the majority of people, there is a written or unwritten rule that this money that the children have borrowed will be used to repay be repaid. Now that's where we can get into some family arguments and a bit of tension in the family in regards to repaying that loan. So that's certainly something to just keep mindful of as well. That relationship, you might have a good relationship with your parents now, but it can certainly become strained once money or borrowing of money gets in the way. And that really leads out to that final point, which is independence as well. Because you see, what I see linking these 2 points together is, for example, if you've purchased your first home, and then 12 months down the track, your friends are going on a holiday, you want to go with them, and you've got, say, 5 grand saved up, or it's in your offset account to go on that holiday. If you've borrowed from your parents, then your parents can be looking, not say will, but I've heard of a lot of stories where they can look at you and go, well, hang on a sec, you've got a debt with us, you should be paying that off first rather than going on this holiday with your friends or whatever that might be. So that does bring in a lot of tension and stress into families when they've got that, when there's money borrowed between parents and children. So that's certainly there is some temptations to fast track your equity and fast track the deposit process, but there is some cons, and it may not be financial cons. I must stress, it's not necessarily the financial disadvantages, it is more the emotional disadvantages or that strain that's going to occur between yourself and your parents. So just something to keep you mindful of there. And the reason that I generally say if possible, don't use your parents to save for your first home, because it is your first home. It's not your parents' 4th or 5th or 10th or 20th home, whatever it might be. It's your first home. You're going to get a lot of joy if you can genuinely say, hand on heart, that you saved for your first home. You put in the extra hours, you put in the extra effort, you use the first home super saver scheme, which we talk about, and that you use that process to budgeted and sacrifice to be able to save for your first home. You get a lot more pride and joy, and you're able to honestly say that this is your own home. This is your first home that you saved for and worked hard for. So that's just my personal view. You're allowed to have a different opinion. That's totally okay. But there is disadvantages and disadvantages of the bank of mum and dad, and that's something that you need to be fully aware of before entering into that sort of arrangement. So if that's something that you want to discuss in a bit more detail, what I want you to do is go to masteryourmoneynow.com.au/get started and book in your complimentary 30-minute money strategy session with myself and one of my team. We sit down, we have a chat about you, where you are now, where you want to be, and how we can create a plan to get you from point A to B. So book that time in the time that suits you. If you like this video, make sure you share it with your friends, family, and work colleagues, and also check out the other great videos we've got on our Whiteboard Wednesday series. My name's Chris Carlin from masteryourmoneynow.com.au. Looking forward to seeing you next week's Whiteboard Wednesday.